Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, zooming in on the topic of the narcissist control and how they utilize depersonalization as a manipulation, as a tool of control, and as a tool of power. This is a very important and really very serious discussion. Because depersonalization is a manipulation and a control tactic that a narcissist will use to basically edge away at the person at their core, at the very foundation of their psychological life, their inner life, basically their complete inner identity. So it's a very big, major, serious issue. And I want to explain a little bit about what this means. The inner life is where really someone has their personality, their views, their values, their sense of awe, their sense of mystery in life, their intrigue in life, really that which they're innately drawn to, that which they innately love, that which they're innately passionate about, that they're sensitive to. Their God-given abilities, their God-given perceptions. So, each individual has their own unique perception and things that they find beautiful, that they're attracted to, and also really instinctually, I really do feel and believe that people do have an awareness of really what is good and what is evil or wrong. For example, if you were to see a very unhealthy person consuming a lot of animal fat, just eating a lot of animal fat, so the very unhealthy form of animal fat which causes clogging your arteries, weight gain, obesity, things of that nature, a very toxic substance. So, for example, if you were to witness that, you would know, that's not healthy. That is not beneficial for you. You wouldn't have to necessarily know a whole bunch about nutrition to be able to know that that is not, good for that person, and they're engaging in a behavior that is sabotaging or counter to their health, and that, this is essentially then going to show up on, when they get clogged arteries, etc. So I really do feel that this inner person, your identity, you're able to really become aware of, a lot of it is repressed, meaning pushed down, ignored, denied. But I do feel also that this inner person, your inner life, has a sense and awareness of what is good and what is evil or healthy or unhealthy, what is good for you, what is not good for you. And it's this inner compass. And I know that this is intense stuff, but hang with me. So, you have like an internal compass of what is good for you, what is not good for you, what's good for the people that you love, what's not good for the people that you love. And it's this inner perception, really this inner knowing, that the narcissist will strive to attack, sever, and dismantle, and basically seek to abolish in their target so that they can render them essentially, weak and, in essence, attached to them, so they can't differentiate, they can't individuate, they can't be their own person. They're always going to remain an underling. And they create that cycle of like, I am the one in control, I'm the one in charge, and so I control you through this, through these mechanisms, which are usually the fear, the guilt, the obligation. And they're able to really manipulate people by breaking them down and depersonalizing. So depersonalizing comes when the narcissist, and we can do a lot of videos on this, but I want you to help understand, if this has occurred to you, really what this is and how to really, get over that feeling, which takes a little bit of time and it takes a little bit of work. But if you stay with this consistently, you can, arise up out of that very, very crippling state of being depersonalized. So is it this inner connection that you have, which is really the foundation of all your love, all your passion, all your goodness, your love of the world, your love of, humanity, you're rooting for the good guy, your ability to understand what's inherently good and take action on what's inherently good for you. So it's this inner compass that the narcissist wants to basically dismantle and sabotage, like we discussed in previous videos. The narcissist as the original sabotager, coming from the French sabat, which means to muddle and to mangle. Basically was originally a military term, to really, mess up, basically, and really, so that is in essence what they're trying to do to you, your perception, and your senses. It's extremely serious. And it is this inner core that they dismantle through a number of mechanisms. They break people down by violating their boundaries. So your boundaries is basically just like your personal space. I know that this is a lot of information, but your boundaries are kind of like, your personal space, where you exist, where you're safe. You have your privacy, you have like your own energy field. If someone were to violate your boundaries, it would be like if someone were to hit you, slap you, that's called intrusion of personal physical boundaries. If someone is to yell at you, torture you, then we enter into the violation of psychological boundaries. And then, when we start to get into the depersonalization, you really start to really get into the severing of, violation of at the core of that person, which is really kind of their center of their being, their soul and their spirit, if you will, really the core of that personality, which is what they're going for. Because if they can get you there, then they have you under their control. So, it's the boundary violation, and they break people's boundaries down in several ways. One, they don't permit them to have that personal space, so it's the intrusion through the physical transgression of boundaries. It's the trespassing of one's thoughts. In other words, one's not allowed to communicate. One's not allowed to voice their opinion. One is scoffed at for their views. One is chided. One is scorned. One is shunned for their specific viewpoint. And their viewpoint is, their God-given right. And so they try to attack you at that very core, which is the depersonalization. And they will not give you a certain healthy mirroring, which is eye contact, which is kind of a safe a mirroring, or just very common conversational, hello, how are you? They will skip over that entirely and then move into the depersonalization. They will use very improper body language, always fidgeting while they're talking to you, always turned around, talking to you and yelling behind themselves. So it's like, if you were over there in that chair, they'd be talking to you, can you, constantly yelling at you, and then you're behind them. So you're always having to, violate, your sort of proper communication style, natural communication style to accommodate for them. These are just the ways that people will depersonalize. I had someone who, the narcissist in their lives would never really speak to them. They, would talk to them almost, constantly, from turning around, and, even just like, talking through a mirror at them, or a glass that they were saying, and they never really talked to them as a physical human being. I mean, extremely depersonalizing. Realize that this is a manipulation tactic. It is nothing you have done wrong. You have not you are completely worthy. You have a lot to say. You have a lot to offer. It's this narcissist control tactic that was striving and the goal to break you down, to have you not believe that you are worthwhile, so they can get you underneath and realize it was nothing that you did or say to deserve this treatment. You deserve human, ethical, and courteous treatment. You do not deserve to be abused. So I hope identifying this tactic will help you understand that it was not anything that you had done to perpetrate this or call that into being. It is a manipulation tactic executed by a narcissist who is seeking to control. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.